वेलकम बैक। हमारे तालिब इल्मों के लिए एक बहुत ही तशवीशनाक सूरत हाल, क्योंकि CIE एग्ज़ाम्स जिसके अंदर कैम्ब्रिज बोर्ड, पियर्सन बोर्ड और तमाम क्वालिफिकेशन जो ब्रिटिश काउंसिल के अंडर होती हैं, उनके एग्ज़ाम्स को कैंसिल कर दिया गया है। ये मनसूख नहीं हुए, पोस्टपोन नहीं हुए, इनफैक्ट इनको कैंसिल कर दिया गया है। सूरत हाल ये भी है कि फ़ेडरल बोर्ड और पंजाब बोर्ड के एग्ज़ाम्स भी मुल्क के मुख्तलिफ़ इलाकों में, शहरों में कैंसिल कर दिए गए हैं। सिर्फ तरतीब और स्केड्यूल के मुताबिक सिंध भर में एग्ज़ाम्स हुए हैं। इस वक्त हमारे साथ मौजूद हैं Kathryn, she is the director of Pearson School's Qualification, Middle East, North Africa, Pakistan and Turkey. उनसे जानते हैं कि what is the latest and how is Pearson actually going to facilitate the students. Good morning, Kathryn. Thank you very much for being here with us. First and foremost, it is very unfortunate that the exams needed to be cancelled because of the situation in Pakistan. It's quite unstable. How are you going to move forward with that? Is there a new schedule, or how should the students be reacting to this cancellation?
Okay, so yes, good morning. And I think, first of all, I'd just like to say all of Pearson's thoughts are with everybody caught up in the ongoing situation over in Pakistan. Our main concern is keeping all of our students safe, and indeed staff on the ground that are administering these examinations. And so what we're doing is we're working with our counterparts in the British Council, and we're taking a day-by-day decision on what we do about each of these examinations. Now, we're committed to cancelling for all exams with the British Council by the end of the week, and we'll take a decision next week on our ongoing strategy for.
Right. So, Kathryn, is there a possibility that there will be a new schedule for these exams, or should the students believe that they will get a marking or they'll get a grade based on their average, just like we did in the COVID days?
Yeah, so we've got a lot of experience of this from the COVID days. What we can do, there's several things we can do. The one thing we can't do is reschedule the examinations for this particular series. Now, for our A-level candidates, they can there's an October series available to them, and there's a January series available to them. And for our international GCSE, then there's a November series available. If candidates have sat some form of component already, then there's some special considerations we can allow. And if we get to a stage where there are absolutely no examinations being able to be taken in this series, then there's further contingency steps that we can take. I mean, ultimately, our aim is to get as many students a grade as we possibly can. So we've got several steps we can take. At the moment, we're just taking it on a day-by-day basis. Up to now, we've only cancelled a handful of examinations.
Right.
It could be, that we could be getting back into examinations towards the end of our series. I mean, we've got another 6 weeks to run.
Right. So if things get better, we might go back to this original schedule and probably be able to take the exams that have been scheduled originally. For the sake of my viewers, I'm going to switch to Urdu to just elaborate on what you've just said. तो जी, कैथरीन का कहना ये है कि एक चीज़ जो नहीं हो सकती वो ये कि अब आपको ये दोबारा रीस्केड्यूल करके यही एग्ज़ाम दोबारा नहीं लिए जा सकते। जो एग्ज़ाम्स कैंसिल हो चुके हैं उसके बाद मुख्तलिफ तरह की स्ट्रैटेजीज़ और ऑप्शंस मौजूद हैं। अगले हफ्ते ब्रिटिश काउंसिल पाकिस्तान के साथ पियर्सन की टीम दोबारा बैठेगी, सर जोड़ के बैठेंगे, और उसके बाद जो नई हिकमत अमली है वो सामने आएगी. But just to let people know more about this, Kathryn, I've been a part of a couple of your ceremonies which were the excellent ceremonies, and I do know that the students appearing for Pearson at Excel have been performing wonderfully well. They have been getting distinctions around the world. How is the Cambridge board and the Pearson at Excel different? If you could just elaborate on that for my viewers.
Okay, so we both do international GCSEs, international A levels, so we both do the same type of qualification, but just slightly different approaches. Now I can't speak for the Cambridge board. I can speak about what we do. We have qualifications that prepare students for their future, and so we know that kids are they're entering an uncertain world, and it isn't any more about what they can remember and rote learning. it's about what students can do. And so what our examinations test is their thinking skills, things like critical thinking, their skills of analysis, evaluation, and all of our courses develop these skills in students.
Right.
And what we think it does is it helps prepare them better for their future.
Absolutely. And one of the things which is a clear distinction is usually if you're preparing for a Cambridge exam, you're going to be marked in grades that come across as A, B, C, A star. But as we notice for Pearson et Excel, it's numerical, and probably scoring a 9 is pretty high, even higher than A star. So Kathryn, how are these grades looked upon and given an equivalence certificate in Pakistan, especially what is the understanding with IBCC, especially if the student is to pursue their higher education in Pakistan?
Yeah, absolutely. You're absolutely right. We've been running the 9 to 1 since 2015. The first learners started those courses in 2015. So it's well known worldwide, and indeed the 9 is higher than the A star. In terms of the IBCC, then what they understand is there's international GCSEs, there's international A levels. It doesn't matter which board it comes from, and so they give equivalency for higher education in Pakistan for international GCSEs and A levels, regardless of board.
Right.
Now they've got they match up the numbers and the grades, so regardless of which system you're on, then you do get that equivalency for university.
Right. Kathryn, on-screen assessment, that seems to be a very exciting notion, especially for the students appearing for the international GCSEs. Can you let us know a little bit more about that? Is it digital? Does it require connectivity? One of the things that has also come up as a challenge in the last 3 days is how the broadband services in the country have been cancelled out. So what happens to on-screen assessments in this case?
Yeah, so on-screen assessment is new for us. We're really excited about it. The idea of paper-based exams will be something that will continues for the foreseeable, especially where you've got situations, such as we have at the moment in Pakistan. So what we do with our on-screen assessments is it's effectively the same examination paper, but taken on a laptop instead of handwriting. It's much better for the students. It's a bit more in line with how they learn. They can do things like cut and paste and highlight text, delete things, move things around. So it's a much better experience for them. Now, the way the setup works is there's a browser which locks down the computer, and so they can't go on ChatGPT to find the answer or anything like that. And what it does is there's a periodical upload back to our server. So if there's intermittent internet problems, that sort of thing, then we completely allow for that. You can even actually, if the laptop fails, you can stop, substitute a new laptop in, and carry on where you left off.
That's very interesting.
So we've got.
So would you have would the students be given a copy of their work, and will they be able to see their exam scripts to understand where they went wrong, improve upon their work, and how do they actually prepare for it? Will they be practicing for the on-screen assessment in their schools before the exam?
Yeah. So in terms of the reviewing their work, it's one of the things that Pearson is a differentiator for us, because in sort of previous times, you'd handwrite an essay, you'd send it off, you'd never see it again, and then you get a grade back. Now, regardless of whether the students do on-screen assessment or paper-based assessment, then after their examination has been marked, they can get a copy of that script back, and they can see exactly how they've done.
I think that's very important for them to understand the grading system, to understand their role. It's part of the entire experience. But Kathryn, I would want to take a minute for you to tell us how receptive and how open have you found the partner schools to be. Traditionally, Pakistan sees that the Cambridge board is very, very popular, and most of the schools offer that. So how was that experience for Pearson since 2015, or since the time you've been operating in Pakistan? Pakistan, have more schools been receptive towards offering Pearson EdXL to their students?
Yeah, I mean, Pakistan's an interesting one. We've been running international GCSE since before the start of the millennium. So we've been around a long time. In fact, we originate from University of London in the 1800s as an examination board. So we're not new, but we do appreciate that in Pakistan specifically, we run qualifications in 55 countries around the world, but in Pakistan specifically, it has been more Cambridge focused. Now we've got a number of partner schools who have been loyal with us. They've been on the journey with us, for the last 20 or so years, and we're really delighted to partner with them. What we've noticed over the last year or so is that sort of some of the schools with like a real vision, school chains with a real vision, are kind of looking to Pearson and realising that what our qualifications can do are really preparing students for their future, and things like on-screen assessment, and the idea that some of our qualifications are modular. So you can sit them in piecemeal parts. So you can sit in January, you can sit in October, you can sit in June. And in situations like this, it's so valuable because the students have already taken some exams. So when you have an instance where exams get cancelled, it's okay because they've already taken some. And things like access to scripts. I think a lot of schools are sort of seeing this and they're saying, yeah, this is really interesting. So we're getting so much interest at the moment from schools across Pakistan. It's really changed over the last year.
That's wonderful to hear, Kathryn, and I can also apprise my viewers that since I've been a part of a few of your outstanding meritorious student ceremonies, you really take these partnerships to be very important, and it has been a two-way street. It has been enriching for the schools and also for the teachers, because just as the meritorious students are recognized in these ceremonies, but the teachers who work day in and day out facilitating and grooming these students, they are also acknowledged. So इनकी ceremonies में हम देखते हैं कि आउटस्टैंडिंग टीचर्स को भी बाकायदा अवार्ड्स दिए जाते हैं, उनको रिकग्नाइज किया जाता है फॉर देयर वंडरफुल वर्क. थैंक यू सो मच, Kathryn Booth, the director of Pearson School's Qualification, has been with us this morning, apprising us about why the exams needed to be cancelled, the options available to the students. ये एग्ज़ाम्स जो कैंसिल हुए हैं उनका दोबारा इसी रवां साल एकेडमिक साल दोबारा स्केड्यूल होना मुश्किल है, लेकिन उसके अलावा ऑप्शंस अवेलेबल हैं, जो कि अभी बात की जा रही है कि ब्रिटिश काउंसिल स्कूल्स मिलकर या तो एवरेज ग्रेड की तरफ देखेंगे, और अगर सूरत हाल दोबारा बहाल हो जाती है तो आगे आने वाले एग्जाम्स अगर टाइम पे हो सके तो उनको ज़रूर किया जाएगा. दैट्स द लेटेस्ट फ्रॉम अस. एक छोटा सा ब्रेक लेते हैं. विल बी राइट बैक.